Hi, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today is my special guest, Omar Medrano, entrepreneur and author of What If It Did Work? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I have been promising, I have an amazing guest lined up for you today, Mr. Omar Medrano. He is an author and entrepreneur. You may have seen his book, What If It Did Work? I love the title of this book, Omar. Thank you so much for joining me today. I can't wait to hear about your backstory and what caused you to write this book and all the exciting things that are happening. Thank you for joining me today.
You know what? The pleasure is all mine. I'm super excited. There's no better place that I'd rather be than right here with you.
Awesome. Well, I will try to honor that excitement and that commitment to our time together. So yes, what if it did work? Because I have found myself on both sides of this question. And honestly, more often than not, I think as with most people, the opposite side of this question, like, oh, it's never going to work, man. Like, I can't do that. And you're filled with all these doubts. Talk to us a little bit about this book and, what caused you to write it? Was there some like final spurring event, or was this something you've always wanted to do? Like, tell us a little bit of
Yeah,
backstory.
definitely. The backstory on the book, What If It Did Work, was I have a degree in journalism, actually 2 degrees. What does that equal to? 250. And those will get you a copy of the USA Today. It was always one day.
Right.
I kept on saying, but then it was like, I'm not worthy. Who am I to write a book? Then I would always follow my favorite fiction authors. I'm like, because originally I wanted to write a fiction book. I'm like, that's not me. I can't do that. I can't write as well as Chuck Palahniuk. He's the guy that wrote Fight Club, or Stephen King. But you know
Right.
what? The world already has one Chuck Palahniuk. The world already has a Fight Club. The world already
Yeah.
had a Stephen King. And besides, everybody's already living in fiction. What I want to do is
Right.
I wanted to empower people. If a guy like me could write a book, if a guy like me could overcome so many obstacles, the question is, why can't you? Why can't you just ask better questions and ask yourself, what if it did work?
All right. All right. Now, was this something that you came up with? How did you come up? Like, what was the final thing? Like, why? Because it takes a lot of effort and commitment to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, right? I've never written a book, so I wouldn't exactly know, but like, why that topic?
Why that topic was because I've always overcome people. I've always overcome doubters, the haters, the naysayers. My junior high principal told me it'd be a cold day in hell the day I graduated college. And he was right.
Wow.
It snowed for the first time in 30 something years in Louisiana when that moment happened at the Louisiana State University. I've never had people in my corner, and so many people are like that. So many people have dreams, expectations, want to live this amazing life, but they heard someone, they heard either a family member, a friend, neighbor say, hey, you know what? Success isn't for you. You're not lucky. Everybody's concerned about the pandemics, whether it's monkeypox,
Right.
corona, this and that. The number one killer to me is doubt. The number one killer is fear. When you hear someone and then you actually listen to their advice and you stop dreaming and you stop doing.
Right. Right. How in because obviously the primary or at least the large principle of the book is overcoming that doubt and asking your question, and asking yourselves the right questions, as you mentioned. How important is the community that you surround yourself with as part of that process?
You have to hang out with an amazing circle of friends. You have to pay to get into these masterminds, or maybe pay for a mentor, or maybe just mirror someone that's in your industry that's further along, further ahead, years ahead, that's
Right.
very successful. When it comes to success, there's no scarcity. People think that,
Right.
there's a finite amount of wealth, a finite amount of success. If Omar Medrano gets successful, if Kale Houser gets successful, it takes away from a pile.
Right.
Success is abundant. Money is abundant. In fact, our government keeps on printing more and more money like a Xerox machine. So
Right.
that clearly, if that's the case, then let's go for it, man. Let's live our best lives. We only have today. I don't care what you did yesterday. That's the past. We don't have Marty McFly or Doc Brown to fix that.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Now, as you're, what, who is this book for? Is this, is this like life coach type stuff? Like, oh, fix all your relationships? Is this for business owners? Is this for entrepreneurs? Like, who is this? What's your target audience for this? That when you were writing it, you're like, this is the person
The
that I'm
target
thinking of.
audience for What If It Did Work are people in general. Is it a
Okay.
business development book? Yes. Is
Right.
it personal development? Yes. I'm a
Yeah.
mixture of both. I'm a mixture of the woo woo, but I am a business coach. But you
Cool.
can't fix yourself. You can't get your goals, your dreams. You will always self sabotage if you don't fix the mind, body, spirit. If you constantly think you're unworthy, eventually you'll stop. That's why worthiness and having the right mindset, success is for everybody, man. If
Yeah.
I'm 5'8", zero athletic ability, ran 25 full marathons, it's about overcoming, man.
Wow.
There is no doubt. This book is written and designed for you, for me, for everybody, because we all have something to fear. We
Right.
all have that unworthy, or we have this huge fear of failure or fear of rejection.
Right. Yeah. 100%. And I am absolutely guilty of that. I will be honest with you, and I do have a fear of running marathons. So congratulations on that accomplishment.
Oh, I
Because
can't do those anymore. I tore my ACL and
right,
PCL. That's all in the
right.
past. I'm just saying, that was the slowest guy in my fraternity, or I tied the guy. One of my nicknames was Slowmar. So by all means,
Ah,
I'm not an Olympian. I'm not going for Boston or anything like that.
yeah, yeah, that's funny. I love that's Slomar. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Yeah, I was pretty wicked fast in sixth grade as well. Pretty awesome, but not so much anymore. That's funny. So now you mentioned being a business coach. Talk to us a little bit
Mhm.
about that because these two things go hand in hand between the books that you've authored and this current. I'm assuming this is what you currently do, correct?
I currently do. Yes, I had 7 franchises. I sold out because I was done. I
Oh,
was done chasing money. I was done just making money. That's not the way to live. To me,
right,
the way to live is to be in purpose, to live your purpose, to live in service, to help others out. And clearly, so many people, yes, not everybody's designed to be in sales. Not everybody's designed to be an entrepreneur, but so
right,
many people are fearful of starting that side hustle, fearful of creating their business because, oh my gosh, what if it did not work? You see,
right.
that little mental focus, that little mental shift. So many people, well, I'm going to be in the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. Omar Medrano failed in business.
Right.
There's no such thing as failure. There's only learning experiences. Some experiences cost time,
Right.
some cost money, and unfortunately, there's others that cost a lot of both.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I would, at least in my experience and the people that I've talked to, that has been their absolutely number one stopping fear. It's not the I don't have the skills, I don't have the desire or the motivation. It's just the what if of the unknown, and it's a very
Yeah,
select few that don't do this.
we all
Yeah.
have skills, man. We were all born with greatness. What happens is no this fear of being different. Oh my gosh, how about we can't excel in school? Not that I say academia is the way to go because you don't want to be clumped as a nerd or a geek or this.
Right.
So
Right.
much self doubt, so much you know. Clearly, 31 years later, out of high school, it's we all have these limiting fears and limiting beliefs. We weren't born with them; just other people just stuck it in us.
Right. Now, what would you say for somebody that's maybe listening to this podcast that they're at that point? They're man like, oh, I've got this idea. I think it's going to be awesome. It's always what I've wanted to do. Right? They've had this, whether it be a passion or something else is happening where they're on that verge, but they're sitting there going, man, I don't know that this is going to work. What would you, as the experienced mentor, as the business coach, as the author, say to that person to really help them get through that process and decide one way or another?
Indecision is another killer. What a person needs to do is, do they really want it? Is it
Right.
because other people say, because it's like New Year's resolutions. People only do those because they've heard, everybody else and they want to keep up with the Joneses. Now, to
Right.
open up a business, you have to have clarity. What is it that you want? Why do you want to open up a business? Is it
Yeah.
because you're tired of being treated like crap? So you're going to treat other people? You're going to be the boss? Is that it? Because a lot of people, what happens is they use that excuse.
Right.
They open up their business and they're like, well, this is the only thing I know. Well, you left that. Why are you opening up your own business and treating others the same way?
Right.
So I'd say just have clarity. What is it that you want? And then after that, just do a little research. Is it in demand in your market? Because
Right.
every item isn't marketable in every market.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, and that's absolutely. I would wholeheartedly agree. Those are the first two things of, your why you're doing it, and is there even a market for it? It's like opening
Well,
a.
yeah, here, if there's a market, could you imagine if you and I mean, I've never been to Paducah, Kentucky, but I'm sure a five-star Michelin French restaurant or some very exclusive restaurant, would it hit
Right.
it big there? More than likely, no. That's
Right.
why, is it marketable?
Yeah.
Your restaurant might be, but clearly not in Paducah, Kentucky, clearly not in Hawking, Indiana, if there was such a place like that.
Right.
So, well, I have this amazing vegan bakery. Well, is there a demand in your neighborhood?
Right.
If not, maybe you have to move because, like to say, like what Biff once said in that movie, make like a tree and get out of here.
I
But
love it.
yes, always do research
Right.
because a lot of times what hurts people is they don't have clarity and they don't do their research and they're like, I got to open it up. I got to open it up. And before you know it, they're in the red.
Right, right. And that one step further of, I want to open a pizza shop and they open it on their corner and then like, bro, there's like 6 pizza shops within 3 blocks of here.
Exactly. And how about one of the pizza shops is like this established place. You're in a college town, and
Yeah.
everybody's been going there. They're a legacy. So there's parents, grandparents, and now
Right.
the young kid. You're not going to be able to compete. I don't
Yeah.
care if you have a Guy Fieri type
Right.
menu item.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love that because I think that's something that people in their excitement and their passion, they've made that decision like, yep, I'm going to step out and do it. And they forget that piece of it because that's the piece that requires some work. That's the piece that requires some effort outside
It's
of
because
that.
people want that microwave to success. They want it instantaneous. Instead of just taking a step back and going, okay, well, I haven't been an entrepreneur for 20 years.
Right.
What's one extra month you want to do? What's an extra 2 months? Let me research because after all, this is my livelihood.
Right.
This is
Right.
my money. This is my life savings.
Yeah. And you should be approaching it no different than how you do your finances. Like, can I, do I have the finances or the ability to get them to invest in this business and make it viable and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
It's just
clearly,
another piece
people
of the puzzle.
usually have it the other way around. One,
Right.
you should have an exit strategy. That's the next
Yeah.
step. But usually, nobody has an exit strategy. People think, well, I'm going to will this to my kids.
Right.
Well, do your kids want it? It's like when they say timeshare is willable, buy it.
Right.
Do your kids want the excess fees and the escalating costs?
Right.
We don't know, but more than likely, no. And the same thing. You need to have that. You need to have clarity. You need to do your research. But what happens a lot of times is they go into business, they're hurting, they're losing money, and then they're like, yeah, maybe this was a bad idea.
Right.
Well,
And it
you
didn't
think?
work, right? And they start blaming all these external factors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a reason why businesses fail.
Yeah.
No, the reasons why your business is failing is the man in the mirror.
Yeah, yeah. Capitalism is bad in America and my community and the Democrats, the Republicans, and yeah, all that.
It's
stuff.
easy.
Yeah.
I love the political people because I mean I'm 49 and half my life has been with a Democrat president, a Republican president, a mixed house, a majority house of one party, the other.
Right.
And hey, your life hasn't changed unless you're a lobbyist, unless you want that ambassadorship to South Africa or whatever obscure country, or you're going to be in the cabinet. It's not going to matter
Right.
who's in the Oval Office.
Yeah, yeah. And if it does, you're focusing on the wrong things, and
Oh
and
yes,
your business
and
model is
think
not set
about
up.
it. You've seen it. We had the same social media friends,
Yeah.
and there's people that are so obsessed that will post 15, 20 times. One, it's not going to change anybody. It hasn't changed my political views, my social
Right,
views, but
right.
they keep on doing that. But if you had that same amount of passion and that same amount of time for a side hustle or for something that will
Yeah.
improve your life, oh my gosh, boom, mind
Yeah.
blowing.
Yeah, that is so fascinating because I absolutely have if if you put half as much energy instead of posting about how much you hate candidate X or candidate Y
Oh, exactly.
into
Oh,
promoting your business or, you know,
or
self-improvement.
let's
Hey, I
go,
just read this.
Brandon, or
Yeah.
I hate Trump.
Right,
I
right.
either or, unless you're in the cabinet, unless you're making money, unless you're writing your blog and
Right.
people are paying for a subscription
For that political
on your
content.
political and
Yeah.
social views, who cares? In
Right.
fact, the worst thing is when I see people that own businesses that do that, and it's like the country is polarized right now. So
Right.
what you're going to do is instead of being vanilla, who cares about your political position?
Right.
You're not Howard Schultz. You're not Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
You're not Hobby Lobby. You're not Walt Disney.
Right.
But yet you're going to turn away money
Right.
because money is green, man. I mean, same amount of money for both parties. That's why
Right.
20 years being in business, I was as vanilla.
Right.
Oh, somebody would want to rant and rave about the president or the yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
if you say so, whatever, because you're not going to get anything out of me.
Yeah, that's so interesting that you said that, and it's so timely because I just had this experience where I was getting ready to hire a gal in her young agency to help with some marketing stuff and go that route. We had a great conversation, and like I was literally about to hire her, and I'm like, I should just kind of check her social media just to see how it does. And I don't know why I didn't do this earlier in the process, but I did. And it was so full of all the political hot topics that are happening right now, like all the banners and all that kind of stuff. I'm going, okay, you absolutely do your thing, whatever you want to believe in. That's totally but as a marketing agency, why are you funneling yourself into this like one bandwagon type of
Exactly.
stuff?
It never.
Yeah,
I'm always shocked by it.
yeah,
It's like, yes, it works for Howard Schultz because he's a billionaire.
right,
It's a publicly
right,
traded corporation. It doesn't matter, but I'm sure Howard Schultz 30 years ago, when Starbucks was
right.
only a few locations, was hammering away.
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A, yeah, the guy was already in his 90s.
right.
The Eat More Chicken. I love how people are like, oh my gosh, this new company. No, that company's we're even older than us.
Yeah, yeah,
I went to school in the South, and before Eat More Chicken, before the cows, that's why one idea can change your life,
yeah,
one marketing idea,
yeah.
because that did it for Chick-fil-A. They were in strip centers throughout the South. They were in the malls.
Yep.
There was nobody camping out for be the first 30 customers.
Mhm.
That's all, people will say that's an overnight success. And it's like, well, if they're credited with
Yeah.
creating the chicken sandwich, is that really an overnight success?
Right, right, yeah. And just side note, the book by Kathy Truitt in that story is phenomenal. It's an absolutely amazing book. If you haven't,
It's a
yeah,
great book. And the problem with what people had is that they're judging a man. And he was as almost as old as George Burns when he died.
right,
That's why
right,
we can't judge people. We can't judge. It's like when Christopher Columbus was evil, he was ruthless. We're judging a man from 1492
right,
to the standards of now.
right.
Got
Like
it.
he's responsible for
And they do it with
every injustice.
everybody. Everybody. It's a different time, different place. They didn't
Yeah,
have smartphones. They didn't know about
yeah,
political parties. There was no in fact there was no Republican or Democratic Party. But
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy how. But yeah, no. Kathy Truitt was a genius.
yeah,
The company was an amazing company,
yeah.
and it was always built on customer service.
Right.
The
Yeah,
the political stuff, white noise. The
right.
in fact, their customer service is so great for a QSR, quick service restaurant, so great for fast food. there's like 60 cars ahead of you. You'll still get your food in 5 minutes.
Right.
I remember one time I was running late and I was like 200 miles for a soccer tournament. My youngest, there was one car ahead of us at McDonald's, and we were almost late. It took us 30 minutes, and then they didn't even get to the order because it was lunchtime. But they're like, oh, but we're still serving breakfast, we think. And this is the best part. If you want to know about leadership, okay, like I said, I've owned QSRs for 20 years. The manager was in the manager uniform. And the first thing she told me, I wasn't even asking for the manager, is like, you know what? The manager's not here. So we really can't help people. But can you wait another 15 minutes and we'll get your order? It's like, got it.
Yeah, and that principle of customer service that you brought up, that's because that is on the opposite end of the spectrum. That's a universal principle of every business. You want to have a level of customer service, and Chick-fil-A just took it to a whole nother.
It's in every book
Yeah.
on leadership is the guest experience. You and I grew up in a time where coffee was like an afterthought, 50 cents, 75 cents. Refillable, whatever. Howard Schultz is not in coffee. He is in the guest experience. He's in the people business. Disney World, people business, the experience. Another perfect example is you had Las Vegas and Atlantic City at one time neck and neck. Well, Atlantic City was like, okay, well, here we are. We're here. If you want to eat, have a good meal, and the gamble. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that went well until the whole country, pretty much every state has legalized gambling of some form.
Yeah.
And they should have noticed something when people from New York City and Philadelphia were still flying or taking the red eyes to go all the way. And you'll see it. Everybody's like cheering to get off the plane when they get to Vegas, and everybody loses their shirt, and there's still the customer service is so exceptional there. They're like, I can't wait to go back and lose more. That thing's awesome.
Yeah. I love it.
And then it was funny because Atlantic City at their last gasp were like, okay, well, we're gonna build bigger, newer casinos, the Borgata and all. But it's like, you still don't have the customer experience. You don't have the guest experience. You don't have the wow factor. You don't have the shows. You don't have something that will make people want to come back. And that's what separates the decent from the good to the great. Walt Disney knew that when he was still alive. It was all about the guest experience, and it was all about
magical kingdom,
clean parks. Because with his two daughters, before Disneyland, Anaheim, he would take them to carnivals, and the place was filthy, always. And that's why, like, I think at Disneyland and Disney World, and this is the actual science behind it, each garbage can is separated by how long it could take a person to eat a hot dog. And that was a Walt Disney. Yeah, that's how
like
he
walking.
wanted it.
Yeah,
walking from one garbage can to the other. If I ordered a hot dog and ate it, and that's why they're, I don't know, 40 feet from each other, 25 feet. I never measured them, but they're all over the parks.
Right. Yeah, that's really fascinating, man. We covered a lot of different businesses there, but that was, I mean, it's
well, dude, I'm all about the business, man.
Yeah,
that's
I love it.
Thing.
No, it was awesome.
That's the one thing. You and I could go out for a drink, go out for lunch, and I'm not checking out the anybody can have a snazzy ambiance and all that. It's the guest experience. How do your servers treat them? Do they upsell? I love the restaurant that's like wants to know if you want to order dessert right off the bat. Oh, because it's going to take 15, 20 minutes. Oh, why, thank you. That's for me. Why, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
It's because they know if you order you're going to be full. You're going to be like, yeah, no, I'll pass.
Right.
And
and that's
I've got two teenage daughters, and we always do that. I don't talk to them about travel soccer because I have a clear head. I don't think they're going to be the next Mia Hamm, like most travel soccer parents. It's always
Right.
about the upsell. It's always about the guest experience. It's about,
Right.
is this store in the right market?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and what makes it great. And it's so fascinating you bring up the servers and just the restaurant industry too, because it is in that server's best interest to be nice, to be upsell and all those things. And you just, whether by attitude or
It's a
laziness or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
great server when it just flows. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I remember going to Steamboat with my daughters last year,
Oh, yeah.
and we went to Lululemon. They wanted not my kind of clothing, but they were there. They
That's not
wanted to
your
buy
not your
stuff.
style.
Yeah,
You're not wearing
the
your spandex underneath there, right there.
exactly. But they thought the girl was flirting with me, and I'm like, she's not flirting. She's
No.
selling. She's
Yeah.
connecting. She's trying to
Just
get a
making it comfortable.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's making us all feel comfortable. She doesn't want to go out on a date with me. This is what customer
Right.
service looks like. And
Right.
did I buy stuff for me? No, but
Right.
we got more stuff because the kids were there. They felt more comfortable, and that
Right.
is whenever I'm sure you hear so many people. Oh, I'm not in sales. I hate sales. It's like clearly
Right.
everything's a sale. You sold me to come here on your podcast. Everything's a
Right. Yeah.
sale. The person working in corporate America lied, sold the HR, sold whomever to hire them when they're like, oh, my biggest flaw is I'm a perfectionist. I'll stay here till the job is done. I take it
Yeah.
personally. That's a
Right.
sale. That's you sold someone.
Yeah, yeah, that's fascinating. I do want to highlight something you said, and it was a bit ago, but I hadn't heard it that saying before, and I love it, and I'm going to steal it absolutely. So unashamedly, I'm going to steal it
Deal
of
away.
the microwave to success because I mean it's so that analogy like just clicked in my brain, and you can just see it like, oh yeah, two
Oh,
minutes,
that's
boom,
one of the main
I've got a
points
hot
in my
meal.
book. Yeah,
Right.
we all had the tools within us. We all know how to
Yeah.
lose weight. We all know how to get washboard abs. But you know what? We're
Right.
waiting for the new season, The Biggest Loser, whenever that comes out again. We're waiting for
Right.
the new cookbook. We're waiting for the new
Yeah.
diet. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know how to communicate with my husband or wife. Well, it's called common sense. Oh, but
Right.
I'm waiting for John Gray to write a new Men Are from Mars book.
Yeah,
I need a
Dr.
new
Phil.
relationship book.
Yeah.
Everybody wants something. And then when they find out that it requires work, they're like, oh,
Right.
that's why in social media, hey, I was mowing lawns 30 days ago, but right now I'm living in La Jolla in a mansion. For only $29.99, I will send you this recipe to success. And people
Right.
are like, yeah, if it's not going to take me work,
You're right.
yeah.
I love it.
Crypto millionaires, everything overnight. And then now everybody's like, oh my gosh, so real estate can go down, the stock market could go down, investments can go down.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the economy.
Right.
It's called Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger didn't become billionaires within 30 days, 1 year, 2 years. It's a
Right.
process that requires work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, we could go on just on the social media end of things for the next 3 days about it, but we'll leave that where it's at. Um, One thing I wanted to ask you, because I ask this of all my guests, because I think it's so fascinating to hear different opinions on it, is whether by your previous experience or how you approach it with people that you work with, your clients, the difference between a manager and a leader in the business sense. What's your take on that?
The difference between a business manager and a leader leads. He empowers his team. He knows in order to hit goals, in order to become wealthy, in order to become scale, it has to be a we.
Right.
It's not me. I can't do this all by myself. That's a leader. I'm not going to give you an HR book about this big on things that you can't do.
Right.
Help us get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
The boss, the manager, he's got all the posters up. He bought the leadership, and it's an eagle flying in a
Yes.
canyon, teamwork, and
Right.
people rowing. But it's always like he has that revolving door, can't keep anybody for over a year because it's me, 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 selfish as hell, narcissistic as hell, because this thing is here because of me.
Right. Yeah. 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 If I wasn't here, you all would be losers.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah.
One of my first job out of college, the boss said, if you want to get a raise, the way to get a raise is to get another job.
Interesting.
How empowering, right?
Right. Yeah. Like, okay, I want to raise tomorrow, so we'll see you later. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Productivity will never, I learned to scale. I couldn't duplicate myself 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Right.
Nor did I want to. I did not want to work a shift to save $8, $9 an hour.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of people live in scarcity. When you become a leader and you empower your team and it becomes a family type, when you have employees that are there that have skin in the game, that take pride. There's companies, that have all the swag and the hat and they give it to all the employees. You never see them wear it because they hate the place.
Yeah.
They gave it to Goodwill. They gave it to Salvation Army. Who knows what? The leader creates all that stuff and they're proud. They post on social media. They love their job. They love their career. They love where they're at. Yeah. They wear the hat. They wear the hoodie. They wear the shirt. Yeah. They're a walking billboard.
Yeah. And beyond just posting about them, it's posting about their teams. It's posting about team successes and individual successes.
It's not like, but you'll see the boss. Oh, I got this new car.
Right. Yeah.
Well, did you get that car or did you have a team help you? Right. Oh, you got the team.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's like that meme that says, "Work hard next year, and I'll be able to get a new Lamborghini."
Yeah.
Well, that clearly is a boss.
Right.
That clearly is somebody that's not a leader.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I do not disagree with anything that you said there, and I love your bringing up the point of the motivational posters and things because those are just Band-Aids.
But you'll see them.
Yeah.
I've been to so many different places. Not only when I was working for corporate America or visiting mentors and whatnot, and it's like this is a saying. If you have to say, I'm a Christian and I have this is a Christian run organization. Clearly it's not, because actions speak louder than words.
Right.
In-N-Out's a Christian organization. Their customer service is so exceptional. They have raving fans. Nobody even notices.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you're like Inspector Clouseau or something like that, and you're checking the cups and you're checking the wrappers. There's all biblical verses throughout the place. Yeah. But that's just one example.
Right. Yeah. And they don't need.
You don't need. When they say we're Christians and we run it like a Christian organization, actions speak louder than words. And when you see all the posters, it's like, great, you have a catalog and you can order.
Right.
A leader doesn't need to have definitions of the things that the organization is not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's part of who they are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's within their being, and it's infectious. Right. When you're like that, your team will become that way. Yeah. Another way to tell that they're being run by a boss is, it's not my job title. I can't answer that. Right. It's not. Yeah. They pass it off.
Yeah. You need to go see Patty.
One, they could care less. That's not my type. That's not my department.
Right. Yeah.
If somebody run by a leader, everybody will try to fix that problem for you, or they'll get the answer right now.
Right.
Now, hey, don't worry about it. Throw something in the suggestion box. We'll get right back to it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That everyone lost the key to the lock on like years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it. Well, this is super fascinating. I love getting a peek into your brain and how it works, especially from your experiences that you've had. And if people, and I know they're out there listening to this, they're like, man, this is really cool. Like, how do they get more into your world if they want to learn more from you, more about you? Where do you get your book? Like, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can vouch for this. Anybody DMs me I will answer. As long as you're not trying to sell me
Right.
how
Crypto,
to be 60 pounds
FTX,
less.
yeah.
Unless you're trying to ask me if I've ever heard of Forex
Right.
or crypto. Yeah, and we both get that every day.
We do.
DM me. I am like the St. Jude of business personal development.
Nice.
This of lost causes. I will answer everybody
Right.
if they have a legitimate question, concern, they want more information from me, they want to hire me. I don't see people's checking accounts.
Right.
It's not. I don't have to say I'm Catholic. I just show that I'm Christian, but I will help you out.
I love it. Yeah.
And you can telegram me, you can fax me, you can blow Morse code, smoke signals.
Yeah.
I'm public. Everybody should be public. It's called social media, and especially if you're an entrepreneur, why you private?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you want to find significance in posting that you went to Benihana's or that you went to Nobu or you went to STK. Might as well have everybody know you're living the rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah. I love it.
But they can find me on Omar Medrano, Instagram, Omar Medrano 73. They can join my same title of my book, What If It Did Work, on Facebook. And it's just videos on marketing, on how to create goals, how to hit goals. I let other people plug. I don't plug in it. Okay. Listen to my podcast, same title, What If It Did Work? And if they have any questions, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
You can find me.
Yeah. And thanks to social media, the way is pretty low barrier for that. So, and all those links will be in the descriptions of whatever platform you're listening or watching this on, so you can easily, all it takes is a click, and then shoot Omar a message, and definitely start following his social medias, because he's got a lot of amazing content that he's putting out there to really just help young entrepreneurs and business owners like yourselves. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you what you've got coming up, because I don't know if you're able or capable to share. I think you've got something pretty amazing that's in the works, right?
I am an open book.
Yeah.
I completed my second book. It's called The Vacation CEO.
Yes.
People gave me that nickname because I'm so lucky.
Right.
The thing about social media is they don't see all the work.
Yeah.
They just consider everything as luck.
Yeah.
And it's just a book on how to own a business, how to have an exit strategy, how to market, how to scale, because you want to own the business. So many entrepreneurs and solopreneurs don't own their business. Right. The business owns them. Yeah. So I've got that. My podcast, every Wednesday, a brand new episode drops.
Cool.
Speaking engagements, Tampa, Nashville. If somebody wants me to speak at their bar mitzvah, at their confirmation, at their birthday party. But I always have stuff cooking, always writing articles.
Right.
That, they can always Google me.
Cool.
There's always, I live for the moment. So I can't tell you what I'm doing a year from now or 6 months from now.
Right.
But I can only tell you what I'm doing on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah, I love that too, because my wife Liz and I are the same way. Like, her family's like, "Hey, are you guys coming out to Christmas this year for the family kind of Christmas?" We're like, I don't even know what I'm doing next month, man, let alone 6 or 7 months from now.
I tell people, man, tomorrow is not promised. Yeah. All we can do is live for the now, the present, man. Don't worry about what happened last week, last month, 30 years ago. Worry about what you can control now. Okay. And yes, for Christmas, hopefully we're both alive and well. But when somebody wants to know, hey, I just turned 49 2 days ago. Yes. And people were asking me what were my plans for my 50th. Right. It's like, well, I don't even know if I'm going to hit that. Right. Let me celebrate today. Why don't you ask me about my 60th and 70th? And if I live to 100, man, why are we worried about next year? Let's worry about right now.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so Omar is now available for bar mitzvahs, 50th wedding anniversaries, Thanksgiving dinners.
Even though I'm Catholic, I can be at every denomination. It doesn't matter, every religion. Yeah. Whatever you need me for. If you need me to pour drinks to, do a little stand up, I can do that as well.
I love it. Yeah.
Hey, like what our mentor would say, Grant Cardone, whatever it takes.
Whatever
if you want
it
to hire
takes.
me, I'll do the pour.
That's
you
right.
want the 1 ounce pour? You want half an ounce pour? I'll make sure more bang for your buck.
Right. Yeah, the big was it L'chaim, right? Is what they say at the end.
Yeah, look, L'chaim and then the Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov, that's right. Yeah, I love it. Well, Omar, thank you so much, man. This has been so much fun for me, just to sit at your feet a little bit, hear your take on things, be encouraged by you, and it's phenomenal. I know my audience is loving it.
Dude, thank you for the invite.
Of course.
That's the number one thing I appreciate.
Yeah.
And like what I was telling you in our meeting before, what was it, yesterday?
Yeah.
I want you on as a guest, but let's just let some of these episodes go, because the overachiever in me just had to run off. And I guess finally my degree in journalism and broadcast journalism is paying off. I'm using it.
Yeah.
25 years later.
Yeah, I love it. All right, everybody. So make sure you check out Omar's book, What If It Did Work? Follow him on his social medias, and be on the lookout for Vacation CEO, right? Coming out. Do you have a time for that? An estimate?
It's not up to me. It's all up to the editor.
Okay.
I don't believe in fluff. One, if they don't know me yet, they won't flow me.
Right.
So these are nonfiction books.
Right.
So until I write a book about dinosaurs coming back to life, or teenage wizards, or the billionaire that's into
SEAL
bondage,
teams,
yeah, stuff like that sells.
Yeah.
So it's after she does it, her editing and all that should be in a month or two.
Okay.
It'll be out on Amazon, just like What If It Did Work.
Sweet.
And easy read. I'm not all about the fluff.
Right.
I just want people to do the work. Does my book work? No. Does 10X work? No. Does Awaken the Giant Within work? No. The only thing that works is you.
Right.
So get off your butt and do something.
I love it. And I will. I promise.
Well, not you. I mean,
No.
the listeners.
No, it's the same. Like I need reminding of that, just like everyone else, because we all have those days
always,
that
man, we're human. You know, we have our days. You know, we're not robots. But as long as we don't make one day into 2 days, then a week, then a month, then a quarter, then we waste years. That a lot of people live their lives like that. A lot of people are waiting for January 1st, 2023.
Yeah.
Why, man? If we were with Wilson on that deserted island or Gilligan's Island, we wouldn't know what day it is.
Right.
If we had a relative that's a drug addict or a gambling addict, we're like, we'll wait
next quarter,
5 months,
next fiscal year.
We'll wait because there's no better time to start than in January 1st. Right. No, you want to save the person's life or their livelihood now, and the same thing. This is your life. Yeah. Nobody's guaranteed January 1st, anyways. Yeah. And New Year's resolutions, those are for the masses. Write down your short-term, your mid-term, your long-term goals, and write them down every day.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Man, fascinating. Again, thank you so much, Omar. I really appreciate your time and being willing to be a guest with me today.
No, thank you, brother.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. It has been my pleasure to bring and put in front of you Omar Medrano. Make sure you check him out and read his book, What If It Did Work? And no matter where you're at in the world, have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.